when being left behind saved me. The day the last person walked out of his life, he sat alone in that quiet apartment, surrounded by a silence heavier than the walls themselves. Something inside him shattered, not with a crash, but with an aching stillness. At first, he thought it was his heart breaking beyond repair, but it wasn't. What broke that day were the invisible chains he had worn for far too long. Chains of needing approval, of fearing abandonment, of mistaking love for survival. The moment that felt like his end was actually his beginning. It wasn't destruction, it was release. Everyone left. One by one, they all walked away. The friends who once swore they'd stay, the partner who promised forever, even the family who said, "We're always here." And just like that, silence. He didn't see it coming, not all at once, but when it happened, it hit like a storm he couldn't outrun. He sat there, in the aftermath, trying to figure out what he did wrong, replaying conversations in his head, trying to make sense of the silence, trying to shrink himself small enough to fit into the places he'd been pushed out of. It broke him. But here's the truth, no one told him back then. Being left behind was the beginning of being set free. Because sometimes what you think is rejection is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like abandonment is life clearing the space for who you're meant to become. See, when everyone left, he had no one else to impress, no one to fake it for, no masks to wear, no roles to play. And in that loneliness, something powerful happened. He met himself. Not the version he had to be to earn love, not the one shaped by their approval, but the real him, the one underneath. And he realized he was never too much. He was never too intense. He just loved deeply in a world that forgot how to. He was never broken. He was just carrying too many people who never tried to carry him back. And once he stopped chasing the ones who left, he started attracting the ones who saw him. Because when you stop begging for a seat at the wrong table, you finally find the room you were built to lead in. They left, and it hurt. But that pain became his teacher. It taught him what to stop tolerating. It taught him where he'd been betraying himself just to keep others comfortable. It taught him that sometimes losing everyone isn't the end. It's the start of finally choosing yourself. He began rebuilding, quietly, patiently, and not out of revenge, but out of reverence for his own soul. He read the books, he healed the wounds, he walked into rooms alone, he stopped waiting for apologies, and started creating closure for himself. And slowly, piece by piece, he became the kind of man that didn't need the people who left, because he had finally learned the difference between being alone and being free. So if you're there right now, staring at the empty spaces they used to fill, fighting the voice that says you weren't enough, hear this. You were never left behind. You were lifted out of the places that no longer honored you, out of the patterns that were slowly drowning you, out of the versions of yourself that were never yours to keep. This isn't your ending, it's your awakening. Let the silence shape you. Let the pain refine you. Let the empty room be the space where your real life begins, because the ones who left did you the biggest favor they'll never admit to. They made room for you.